So the taxpayer is supposed to say thank you for not releasing rapists early? There are moments when ordinary working people have every right to stop and ask exactly what they are paying for. This week, the British government announced that prisoners convicted of rape, serious child sexual offences and grooming will now be excluded from its early release scheme following widespread public outrage. Ministers clearly expect taxpayers across England and Wales to breathe a sigh of relief. But should the taxpayers in England really be thanking the government for deciding not to release some of the country's most dangerous offenders early? The fact that this proposal was ever seriously considered tells us everything we need to know about the state of England's criminal justice system. It is not prison officers who have failed. It is certainly not the millions of workers who faithfully pay their taxes every month that have failed. It is the system itself that has failed through years of underinvestment, poor planning, and repeated political decisions that ignored warnings about prison capacity. Today, prisons across England and Wales are operating at around 98% capacity, leaving ministers making decisions they openly admit they would rather not make. The broken social contract between taxpayers and the state. For working people, this raises a much bigger question. What exactly are taxpayers paying for? Every month, millions of workers across England contribute through income tax and national insurance. They do so believing that the public services they fund will perform the jobs they were created to do. They expect the police to investigate crime, the courts to sentence offenders, and prisons to carry out those sentences. That is the social contract between taxpayers and the state. When governments begin considering releasing serious offenders early because there are not enough prison places, confidence in that contract begins to disappear. Victims are workers, their families are workers, their friends, neighbours, and colleagues are workers. When the justice system cannot deliver the sentence imposed by a judge because there is nowhere to keep offenders, confidence in the entire system is inevitably damaged. Stephen Morris, General Secretary of the Workers of England Union, said, "Working people pay billions of pounds every year to fund our public services. They have every right to expect those services to function properly. The fact that ministers even considered releasing some of the country's most dangerous offenders early demonstrates how badly successive governments have failed to plan for England's prison system. Workers deserve better than a justice system that is constantly reacting to crises instead of preventing them." Demanding government accountability, the Victims' Justice Compensation Scheme. The Workers of England Union believes that accountability should apply equally to the British government as it does to everyone else. In everyday life, if you pay for a service and it is not delivered, you rightly expect compensation. Sector, context accountability mechanism, and expectation. Public transport cancelled or delayed trains entitle passengers to delay repay compensation. Retail and goods unfulfilled purchases or lost shipments result in a full consumer refund. Private contracting. Incomplete or substandard contracted work must be rectified at contractor cost. Justice system failure proposed We Victims' Justice Compensation Scheme, up to £50,000 for severe early release failures. Why should government be the only organisation that is not expected to accept financial responsibility when it fails to deliver a public service funded by taxpayers? That is why the Workers of England Union is calling for the introduction of a Victims' Justice Compensation Scheme, where offenders are released earlier than victims were led to expect because of government failures such as prison overcrowding. The WEU believes those victims should be eligible for compensation. The WEU believes payments of up to £50,000 should be considered in the most serious cases to recognise the additional trauma and loss of confidence caused by failures entirely outside the victim's control. Stephen Morris added, "This is not about putting a value on suffering because nothing ever could. It is about accountability to the taxpayer. Every worker in England pays taxes expecting public services to do the job they were created to do. If the government cannot carry out the sentence imposed by the courts because it has failed to provide enough prison places, it should accept responsibility for that failure. Government should be held to the same standard of accountability that every worker and every business is expected to meet. The prison crisis did not appear overnight. It is the result of years of political decisions, delayed investment, and repeated warnings that were ignored. Workers across England should not be expected to applaud ministers for stepping back from a proposal that should never have reached the table in the first place. Working people deserve better. Victims deserve certainty. Taxpayers deserve value for the billions of pounds they contribute every year. Above all, England deserves a justice system where sentences mean exactly what judges say they mean, not what prison overcrowding allows. Justice should never depend on whether there happens to be an empty prison cell available. Workers pay their taxes in the expectation that justice will be done.